'Cause I can feel your body moving closer to mine, and I can tell you want me on ya, so you can feel alive. 'Cause I wanna dance with you, I wanna feel you close, you dance with me. 'Cause I wanna dance with you, I wanna feel you close, you dance with me. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, my brother? Welcome to King Legend Talks. How you doing today?
I'm pretty good, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. I can't complain. Everybody, this is Edon Molla. Did I say it right?
Perfect, bro. You can say however
There
you
we
like.
go. There we go. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Just real quick, a really quick recap of who you are.
Cool. My name's Edon. I'm a songwriter from New York. Yeah, I started out playing basketball my whole life, and then later on, I gravitated towards music, and now I just kind of, fell in love with it, and it's kind of what I want to do with the rest of my life.
It's funny that you mentioned basketball because when I first ran across you, I believe I was watching Shiggy or it was Funny Marker. I believe you were guessing in their live. And I was like, man, I got to check this guy out real quick. And then I went and looked you up. I said, man, he played basketball. That was
Yeah.
super dope. So I was like, man, I got to hit you up and get you on this platform and talk about your journey, man. It's been a wild ride, just based on what I've seen so far. So basketball in general, do you still have passion for the sport? Let's start there.
I mean, I always loved the game. I think I used it as a tool though. Otherwise, like my way of going to college for free, I didn't
Hmm.
grow up with a lot of money or anything of that, so I needed to figure out a way to be able to get a college education without, paying hundreds of thousands in
Hmm.
like student loans. So luckily, I was able to get a scholarship for basketball and for academics. So that was my way of using it as a tool. Um,
Hmm.
and then once I discovered music, it was like, all right, the game has changed. Like this is what I got
Changed
to
the
do.
whole ball game.
Exactly. Yeah. Literally.
So what was it about music that was so good it actually caused you to put the basketball down and focus on your music career?
Yeah. I mean, I was always on the fence about it for a long time.
Hmm.
In high school, my friend John Moret, he was playing guitar I think I was like 17 at the time or 16 and a half or something.
Hmm.
And he's in the lunchroom just like singing and playing guitar. And everyone was like surrounding him, and I couldn't understand what the big deal was at first. I was like, I wasn't really exposed to music
Yeah.
aside from like I listened to like heavy rap music because I played basketball like my whole life, and he was playing an acoustic guitar and singing. I'm like, what is this dude doing? And then I like sat there and I was like, what is this dude doing? Like this is incredible.
So,
Like the
so you fell in
melodies.
love with the music.
Exactly. I was just like, man, this is different for sure.
So is it true that music was kind of like a hobby of yours, like growing up a little bit, like playing the guitar and stuff like that?
Not even. I started music at like 17 years old, like senior year of high school.
Uh-huh.
I hated the thought of singing, so I joined chorus in like fifth grade to be able to skip my last period class, literally just for that reason. And I could never understand why anyone would put themselves in a vulnerable spot to like sing and perform in front of other people just to like most people aren't that nice, so like people are just gonna shit on you for putting yourself out there. So I could never understand that when I was younger. And then
Yeah.
I played like my first show and I was like, man, like conquering your fear and doing it, and then realizing that holy shit, like this is
So let's
over.
talk about that experience, man. What was it like conquering that fear? I know a lot of people that have stage fright. They don't like to be around a lot of people out in public, things of
Mhm.
that nature. For you, what was it? What was those first initial thoughts when you was really attacking those fears?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing that everyone, like, I still get nervous every show, every time I sing. I mean, I don't know if that ever changes, to be honest, but
Yeah,
it's just the thrill of it, right? So the first time you do it, you get that feeling of like, holy shit, I just conquered it. Like, I was terrified of it, and
yeah,
I did it, and people connected with it. Um, so that was like the game changer for me. It was like people are enjoying me putting myself out there, like,
hmm
and it's in a weird way, like for the people that aren't able to do it and don't ever conquer
hmm
that fear, it's kind of like a person like doing it for them, and they're like, like I'm gonna support that dude because I couldn't do it, like
gotcha.
I can't be the entertainer, but I want to be entertained, like that kind of scenario.
So, moving forward, pursuing your music career, I'm quite sure you had a lot of support as far as the basketball thing goes. So making that shift probably was like a big deal to some people that were supporting you and following you for the basketball. So,
Man,
how was that adjustment in your life?
to be honest, like I've never lived my life for anybody else aside from like my core like family members,
Mm,
which is literally my parents and my brother. So I was really not like concerned about anyone's opinion of what I should be doing with my life. So that wasn't really difficult. It was definitely interesting to see though, because I did get an invitation to play for Kosov's like national team, and it's kind of a big deal to turn down an Olympic basketball team to tell someone you're gonna go write and sing songs. Like,
oh yeah,
dude,
that's
you're
a
like,
big deal.
exactly. And the thing was, I wasn't good at music. Like,
Mm,
I wasn't. And looking back now, I'm like, I totally understand that, like, people were projecting their fears onto me. And they're
yeah.
like, you can literally be successful right now if you just accept a career in basketball. Like, it's right in front of you. Take it. You'll be
Mm,
happy in life. And denying it and then pursuing something that realistically, like, looking back now, was the chances of succeeding in music is like 1 in a billion, especially like when you don't have musical talent to begin with. So it's
yeah.
like,
Man,
it,
it's amazing when you think about it, man, because you're talking about putting all your eggs in one basket. You really made a whole transition from one career to a next career. And like you said, it's like a 1 in a billion chance of actually being successful when you're talking about music. But the thing about it, it seems to me that people have really accepted your music, your sound. You say that you don't think you were good at music when you first started, but people seem to gravitate towards the sound that you came up with and your music. Where would you say your motivation or inspiration comes from when you're putting the song together today?
yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see, like, at first people were not gravitating towards the music, they were gravitating towards someone trying to do something. And
Gotcha.
like, I think it was more of like, oh, this dude was really passionate. Like, let me give him a shoulder. Like, he's probably not, like, am I good at music at this point? Right? Like, it's probably no, but like, I'm talking a few years back, like, probably not that good at music, but some people probably supported me because they just knew like how passionate I was about it. Like, I would ask
hmm
people, am I a good singer? The answer is no. Like, I wasn't a good singer, but they would have been like, oh yeah, you're pretty good. And then it was the other people that were like, no, dude, you suck. That like really drove me to like become better and like motivated me beyond belief to get better. Um,
Yeah. Would you say you're the type of person that when someone tells you you can't do something, that drives you to want to do it more?
I have a full list of people in my life that I carry around with me every single day in my
Yeah.
mind, like that. I'm like, all right, this dude said that to me. Got it. Like, totally
Got it.
understand. And now I see
Taking
them in
notes.
like watching my stories, and I'm like, yeah, I remember you. Like, they don't know I remember that, but yeah, I keep definitely a running list.
That's important, man, to do because a lot of times, I guess the saying, "The best revenge is to be successful." That's kind of hit the nail in the coffin right there. So, as far as right now, what would you say? Would you put as your biggest accomplishment so far? Not saying this is the end, but just so far, what would you say? What accomplishment are you most proud of right now as of today?
Um, I don't know. Like, I've done some cool things that look great on paper, but it just, I find what's really amazing about this whole thing is people genuinely all go through shit in life.
hmm
And like music, at least my music, I write songs about my personal life, and I'm really blunt and I share literally everything about my life in my songs.
hmm
And then just having someone DM me and be like, man, like, you know what, this person passed away and this song helped, or like whatever it is that they're going through, they are able to connect with the lyrics in my music. And it's just like, it just shows you how everybody is connected without even realizing it.
Yeah.
So that's honestly like the biggest thing, and what on like has pushed me past, like, you know how some artists get an ego and then they think, all right, like now I got a following, it's all about me, and like that's the mindset that some people hold.
Hmm.
The reverse is happening to me. It's more like, man, like everyone's going through some shit in life. Like I'm the least important person in the world. Like this just literally a person just spewing out information about what everyone's going through. I'm not the only person that's going through some shit. So it's like, it's not
Yeah.
about the artist. It's
That's
about
real.
everyone coming together and understanding that, like, yeah, we need to be a lot kinder to each other.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes people will look at somebody and say, "Oh man, you're lucky. You've never been through anything."
Yeah.
What was one of those situations in your life? Would you say it was a tough moment, but you learned from it? And what did you learn from it? That situation specifically.
Um, it's interesting. Like, there's a bunch of moments like that for me. Personally, I think the biggest one is I wrote my album from a hospital room, and in the moment, I'm just like, this person, Marita, who was close to me, was sick for like about 2 years, and we didn't know if this person was gonna make it. So we spent 2 years like literally in the hospital the whole time. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was rough, man. Like literally sleeping every single night in the hospital. Um,
Mm,
but my way of coping with the reality, which was shitty at the moment, was writing music, and just spending those nights on that little sofa pull-out bed that they give you. Is to wait, like I literally would bring my laptop, my headphones, and just work from that room, and I just finished the whole album from working in there. And that, like, in the moment it was like, shit, this sucks. Like, it's rough, but
yeah, it's real
like,
life.
exactly, it's real
Real
life.
life is happening to you in real time, and you're venting and doing what you can do in the moment to get through the situation.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things about music that kind of really sucks is that most of the best songs have come from moments of people going through pain and hardship. Because a lot of other people, they listen to it and they can relate to that moment.
Yeah.
They can relate to that pain that you're feeling in that moment that you're having, and that's why a lot of those songs resonate really well with people. As far as moving forward with your music, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I mean, I hope to be able to do this, for a lifetime, be able to songwrite for people, perform, settle down, have a family. Yeah, I just want to have this as a career.
Mm,
Be able to help other people understand that if you want to be an artist, it's possible. Like, I think I think the interesting thing is with music, there's this like magical wall or barrier that people think that it's like right there that you can't break through.
mhm.
Um, but anyone can learn how to sing. Anyone can learn how to play an instrument. I think a lot of people think that like you can't become a good singer, you can't become a great instrumentalist if you don't start at like the age of 2,
Yeah,
and it's just not real. Like, it's not like, it's our own fears again stopping us from doing it. I think that's my biggest thing. It's I want like to people understand, like, if you suck at singing at 20, or like you suck at singing at 17, it's not too late. You can still learn how to sing. Maybe if you're like 70 and you're just learning how to sing, you might not be a pop star, but like for a
yeah.
majority of the rest of the like population of people who want a career in music, it's doable.
When people listen to your music, what is the type of message or energy you want to give to that listener?
I think the biggest thing is hope. Um, like the opening line for Marita is "Better days are coming for you. Just gotta
Hmm.
believe." Um, it's a reality. Like, you gotta just say it, and like people. I remember Burita had like a 10 or 5, like 5% chance of survival. She's still alive and doing much better. Like, you just gotta literally say to like, every scenario is different. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, it's a blessing that she's okay now, but we truly believe that she would be okay. So I think
Yeah,
like if you truly, truly believe in something, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, like singing or being a radio host, like whatever it is, if you want to do it, you just got to keep pushing in that direction, and eventually something opens up. Um,
I, I agree. I believe that 100%. I think another thing that's really important is consistency. You know, a lot of people, they come up with these ideas, but they don't follow through. They fall off after one or two attempts and failing.
yeah,
One of the things about failing, you have to continue to try again. You got to try again. You don't always get it on your first attempt, and that's normally what makes the winners different from the losers. It's like you learn from your loss, in the situation that happened in your life. You can sit there and be stuck in a moment and don't move forward, or you can learn from it and don't let it happen again. Uh, I think that's extremely important. Also, another thing that's underrated is mentorship. So, speaking of mentorship, I know that you had the wonderful opportunity of working with a Grammy-winning artist, Roberta Flack.
yeah.
What was that like?
It was interesting. Again, like if you look at life, it's hilarious at sometimes because that summer I was in college and I needed a summer job
Hmm.
to just be able to pay for life expenses in school and like all these random things that you need to work for. And I remember saying to myself like I had a 4.0 GPA in college and I was playing sports. So in my head I'm like I'm becoming successful and I'm becoming the person I want to be.
Hmm.
And meanwhile, I'm working at like this building and I'm cleaning trash and like cleaning toilets. And as like a 17 or like an 18 or 19 or however old I was at that time, I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I don't want to clean people's toilets, bro. Like, that
Yeah.
sucks. So I was like in my head about it. I'm like, yo, like if this is that the rest of my life, like, of course it's not going to be, but in the moment you're like, this is gonna be the like rest of my life. I'm gonna be cleaning toilets and like cleaning trash off the floor. Um, my friend who helped me get the job, his name was Lewis. He was in there. He's like, dude, like you don't have to worry about it. Like you're gonna be great. Like you're gonna get your degree. You're gonna graduate. You're gonna have an amazing life. And like in the moment, I appreciated that, but you still kind of like get down on yourself. So when I accepted the job and I was working, I was like, dude, this sucks. And then one night I had the overnight shift, and me and Lewis were in the elevator. Roberta Flack, like she's much older now, so you wouldn't recognize her. I mean, at least
Hmm.
I didn't. So I had no idea who this woman that just walked into the elevator was, and it was
Hmm.
like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And she jumps into the elevator, and my friend Lewis randomly asks, like, "Hey, my friend sings. Like, would you like him to sing for you?" And in my head, I'm like, "Dude, like it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you're asking me to sing? Like, this
And
is
putting you on the spot.
and putting me on the spot." But I was like, absolutely. Like maybe she's just like a big fan of music. Like you never know. Like so I
Yeah.
sang "Feeling Good" by Nina Simone. Um, it ended up being a song that she co-wrote that no one ever knew she co-wrote. One,
Wow.
which is like, first of all, the chances of me singing that song out of every song ever written is like insane. And
It
then
was like it was meant to happen.
man, literally. And then I sang an original song, and she loved it. She was blown away by it, and it was nice to hear in the moment. I didn't realize like who she was though. So she's like, "Oh my God, babe, you're amazing. Like you have what it takes." And I'm like, "Thanks, lady." Like in my head, and
Yeah.
then like I get off the elevator. I'm like, "Lewis, like who is that?" Like, because the building had like a bunch of famous like celebrities and just like overall rich people that lived in it. And he's
Hmm.
like, "That's Roberta Flack." And I'm like, "Bro, what?" Like, that's the craziest thing I've like experienced in my life. And
Hmm.
then the entire summer, she called the superintendent of the building and asked me to come to her apartment to write songs for the entire summer. Like,
Wow.
man, like,
So that first call, like, what was that feeling like when you got it?
do you know, like, the first question, ironically, that came to mind was, is my boss gonna let me go and write songs instead of like, do my job?
Yeah.
And then the first day, like I went over there and we wrote and I sang songs. It was like surreal. Like you don't even. I like the weird thing was I still bring my guitar everywhere I am, no
Hmm.
matter what, and I would practice during like my lunch breaks before I met her, at the Dakota, and I just continued to bring my guitar. So I had my guitar that day when she called me back,
Hmm.
and we just sat there and wrote songs. The very next day, she called me again. So the entire summer, and then there came a point where my boss was like, "Is this dude gonna work, or he's just gonna like come here and write songs?"
Yeah.
And then he was cool about it. He's like, "Man, this like." he totally understood that like this is a
Yeah, he
once in a
understood the opportunity at hand.
exactly. It was just unreal. Like to be honest, you kind of I did music for fun at that point, so it wasn't anything like I'm gonna have a career in. I just like really genuinely enjoyed music.
Yeah,
But then her telling me like, dude, you need to stop everything you're doing and follow this because you have a real opportunity and a real chance to do it on a like a scale that not many people can. And I was just like, why would she waste her time with me if she truly didn't believe that? So I started to believe it
exactly.
myself.
So now moving forward to Dance With Me,
Yeah.
the song you just came out with, take me through that thought process of making that song. Like, what was on your mind when you were writing that song?
Yeah, so that was part of the For Marita album, and again, like the whole album was written from a hospital room. So I instead of like I wrote some really dark songs that didn't end up making the album, just because
Hmm.
they were a little too personal, and it wasn't even so much that they were too personal because the songs are all very very personal,
Hmm.
but it just like it was more of like a note to self as opposed to a musical thing.
Yeah,
And Dance With Me was me trying to make myself feel better and take myself out of the position, like kind of like a dream, you know what I mean? Like for a moment, I'm gonna step away from my reality and
yeah.
just enter this like really cool moment where you're like, you're in a club or you're whatever it is, like, you know what I mean? And you finally meet somebody that you think is beautiful and you, hopefully that person, you know, wants to dance with you.
So it's almost like you were making your own dream in that moment in your life where everything seems so gloomy outside, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
I got you. So if you don't mind, I'm quite sure a lot of people will love to hear you sing it.
Oh man, I got you,
So many
bro.
people in the chat have definitely been asking to hear you sing. So
Oh man, I
let's go
got you.
ahead and deliver for them.
Hey man, I got you.
And also, real quick, where can people find your music?
It's on Spotify, iTunes. If you go to my profile, there's a link on my profile that has like a link tree, and
Hmm.
that link carries the whole album in on like every single possible like platform,
Got you. Well, we
free.
ready. We ready for you. Let's get it.
Cool.
Check. Didn't think that I'd be seeing you here tonight. 'Cause I didn't know this way you'd go on a Saturday night when you don't wanna be at home. 'Cause I can feel your body moving closer to mine, and I can tell you want me on ya, so you can feel alive. 'Cause I wanna dance with you, I wanna feel you close, you dance with me. 'Cause I wanna dance with you, I wanna feel you close, you dance with me. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. All I want is to see tomorrow. But these drinks in me got me thinking that you're all that I'll ever need, yeah. 'Cause I can feel your body moving closer to mine, and I can tell you want me on ya, so you can feel alive. 'Cause I wanna dance with you, I wanna feel you close, you dance with me. 'Cause I wanna dance with you, I wanna feel you close, you dance with me. Mm,
Man, I gotta clap it up.
Hey man, thank you so much.
That's like pure talent right there, man. It's amazing to me. And you know, you shocked me in this interview when you told me that you didn't believe you could sing at first.
I
Um,
couldn't. Like, it's not that I didn't believe. I genuinely couldn't. Like, that's not a joke.
that's amazing. Like, how did you learn to sing? Like, where did it come from?
Just literally doing it over and over and over again. And I think the most important thing when you're trying to learn how to sing is listening to yourself.
Yeah,
At first, when you hear your voice, you're just like, wow, that's terrible. That can't be me. And then you start blaming all the devices that you have.
yeah,
You're like, oh, it's probably my phone that makes my voice sound bad. Let me get a microphone. And then it's like, oh, that microphone's not expensive enough. I need to get a higher end microphone. And you kind of like go through this process. And then you finally realize that, it's my voice. I got to get my voice better.
wow. That's amazing because you don't really hear a lot of people say that. That's just being completely transparent with us as you can possibly be. I think that's
Yeah.
super cool, man. Like it really is. And then the fact that you know how to play the guitar, you don't need anything else. Like you don't need the extra special effects or nothing to make your sound. You can really make it yourself. And I think that's an amazing thing to have, man. You
Thank you, man. I appreciate that for real.
definitely going places. So now I want to ask you a couple fun questions because a
Yeah.
lot of people they want to know some fun questions. So if you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would it be?
Oh, man. How do you answer these without like sounding cocky or like too
Hey,
confident?
this is your truth.
Um, let's see. I'm very confident. I think a little too confident in myself, but I think we kind of all have to be if you want like to succeed. Um, man, what's a good way to describe wanting to give back to people? I'm just gonna take Christina's
Selfless,
humble, genuine, and passionate. Perfect. I'll steal those three, Christina.
humble. What was the other one?
Genuine and passionate.
Humble, genuine, and passionate. There we go. Okay, you're in a house fire, and you only can grab 3 items. What would be the 3 items you grab?
Three items that I would grab.
Yeah, and you're in a house fire by yourself, so family safe.
Okay, everyone's good. All right.
Yeah,
My first guitar. I think that needs to come with me for sure. Um, let's see. My laptop. I think I definitely need to take my laptop.
yeah.
Um, man, that's an interesting question. What would be the third thing? Um, I guess my microphone.
You know what? That seems to be like the generic artist answer. I always
Really?
get that all the time. Whenever I ask this question, I always get that one. It's either the laptop, the microphone, guitar, or the cell phone. That's popular. A lot of people say phones.
Well, that would
Um,
be. I mean, our phones are glued to us. Like, if I had to pick my cell phone, of course, yeah.
exactly. So if you were the president of the United States, what would be some of the things you want to accomplish during your presidency and then your 4 years?
Oh man, dude, that is.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Um, I think immigration reform. I think it's really sad to see what is happening to people, especially children.
Hmm.
But without getting too political, it's just very sad to see. Police reform, of course. Um, man, there needs to be better education, I think. Like,
I agree 100%.
yeah, I think those are the three big ones. You kind of need to make college free, right? Like,
Someone say you better continue giving those stimulus checks.
yeah, I mean, if people need it, yeah. Like, I don't think like 0.5% of the population should hold 99.9% of, you know, all of the money in the world. Like, it's sad to see. Like, we need to tax the rich. Like, I don't want to get too political, but like,
I got you.
dude,
So
there shouldn't be some with so much money and then some without any. Like, it's ridiculous. But
I agree. So what is your definition of success? Like to you, what is success?
I mean, happiness, to be honest. Like, you can have all the career success you'd like. It's not really gonna make you happy if at the end of the day, like
Hmm.
I know myself, like career wise, like I'm always pushing forward and wanting to become more successful. Um, but if you can't look at yourself and at the end of it, and your way of like climbing the success ladder is through shoving everyone out of the way and being like, I'm here, then dude, you got it all wrong. Like, the point is to help everybody up along the way, you know?
All righty, and you made it this far. Just two questions left.
All right.
And you can go ahead and make us some more music.
Man, this is an amazing interview, by the way, for real.
Thank you, thank you. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what words of wisdom would you leave with people if you only could leave a message for one person of the next generation?
Um, hmm. I think kindness is more important than success. I think
That's
that would,
deep.
but, you know,
Yeah,
like you can be as successful as you like, but if you have a mansion, you live alone, that's sadder than being in a little house with the people you love. So that's just my opinion on the world. People see it differently, obviously, but
exactly. And we talk legacy a lot on this show. So, um, what would you want to be remembered for? Like, what legacy would you want to leave behind when people think about you?
hopefully my music lives on. I don't think anyone's gonna remember my name. Honestly, like I don't think anyone ever remembers people's names per se, but anyone can hear a Michael Jackson song and, feel an emotion. I think be really cool, like generations down, if someone hears a song playing and they're like, oh, I remember like this moment happened when I listened to this song. They might not even remember the artist, but they just remember the song or like whatever it is. That'd be cool. Like I don't think, to be honest, like artists pass on and move forward, but
Absolutely.
music just kind of for some reason stays.
Memory, like music is kind of like memory. You remember a certain time in your life when you heard a certain song. You
Yeah,
remember how you felt about it in that moment. You remember how that song made you feel. And you also remember like what you were doing at that time of your life. So
exactly. Yeah.
I completely understand where you're going with that. Well, those were the two questions. You did an amazing job. I had an awesome time talking to you. I think your music is awesome. I'm really looking forward to hearing more of it.
Man, I appreciate you for real. This was amazing. I loved the interview and loved the kindness for real.
Thank you again for stopping by the King Legend Talks, man. It was awesome.
Always, man. Appreciate you, man.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
See you later.
Later, later.